Do you love your location, but you're a little warm on whether you love the house? Well, maybe a home renovation is for you. But wait, before you jump in, watch this video, because I just completed a 6-month renovation with my family right here in Falmouth, and I have 3 major takeaways to make sure you are prepared for your next home renovation. My 3 biggest takeaways have to do with the design, how you're gonna pay for it, and where you're gonna go. So let's break that down. Number 1, design. This part of the process is crucial. I highly recommend you find someone or hire someone who is an interior designer or an architect or someone who is a visual specialist to help you reimagine your space. We see it on HGTV all the time. They take the rendering of the existing, all these lines start popping out, walls go away, all of a sudden a huge live wall erupts out of nowhere. That's because someone who is really good at design has decided that that is going to make this space more valuable and more comfortable. The last thing you want to do is get out of a massive, stressful, expensive renovation only to realize, ooh, for some reason that closet is not big enough for all my stuff. Really hard to take that back. So interview around, ask us for recommendations, but you want to sit with someone for a couple months drawing out all the different layouts of your renovation to achieve the space goal that you're looking for. Now, why do we renovate? We might renovate because purely we don't like the layout and there's unused space. That was our experience. Or you might renovate because you really want to bring the laundry from the first floor to the second floor, but you have no space for it. You might be doing a dormer to increase your bedroom count. Now, these 3 things I just mentioned are a great value add for your home, but it starts with finding the designer to create the floor plan that will be your future space, and it's gonna increase the value of your home. Okay, number 2, how are you gonna pay for it? I love this question. Something I ask myself every day. How am I gonna pay for the next property, the renovation? Now you have options. So 1, you bought your house. Maybe you bought your house 4 years ago. You bought it for a price. Let's use simple numbers, $100,000. Well, now your house is worth $200,000. So from what you owe on the property, $100,000 minus your mortgage payments from your start, to your value at $200,000, that's what's called equity. And a bank will loan you somewhere between 80% to 90% of your equity to your loan. So a great product, and we used one ourselves, is called a home equity line of credit. This allows you to borrow against that added equity to fund renovation projects. Because remember, you're doing these projects to increase the value of your home. And also, let's be honest, you're doing it for that life balance too, to make yourselves more comfortable. But that is a great way to pay for it. That process can take anywhere from 30 to 60 days. Highly recommend you contact a local credit union or a local bank to see what is possible. How else could you pay for it? Maybe you have the cash, in which case, earmark or budget a certain amount of cash for that renovation project. Because once you do that design, you look at the money you have, then you're gonna start to see how much of that design you can actually do. I highly recommend that you make your budget and you stick to it based on the funds that are available to you. All right, the 3rd lesson, and this one is huge. You won't believe what we did, but it's where are you going to live? I do not recommend living in the house in the middle of a renovation. Yes, there are reasons that you have to do it, and I get it, and I've done it. Growing up, my family renovated our house so many times. I know what the smell of paint is. I know what dust looks like. I've lived through all of it. But if you can, find a place to go. Move in with the parents. Maybe a friend's out of town and you could rent their place. Maybe it's an opportunity for you to check out another area of town and short-term rental. But you're gonna have contractors in and out all day. They're gonna be working on projects. They're not gonna finish projects right away. And if you're involved in the day-to-day like that, it can weigh on you. It is a lot. So you know what we did? We got an RV and we lived in the backyard for 2 months. It was fun. Honestly, the first 10 days, magical. But after 2 months, it started to get cold and it started to feel really small and we had to get out. I'll be honest, we moved into that first floor and it was fine. It was what we had to do. But if I could redo it, I would have had a plan to get out of the house for 6 months and let the contractors come in and just do it all without any interruption. And honestly, that part of the HGTV show where they do the massive reveal, kind of super exciting. So if you can give yourself some of that magic in the process, I highly recommend it. Make sure you have an option to move out of the house during your renovation. So we just went over my top 3 takeaways from renovation. Now I want to invite you into our primary suite to just show you some highlights and some things that I'm thinking we're really grateful that it happened. So 1, doors. Doors are often the same price and you have multiple design options. We went with the 5-panel shaker door. And it gives it a little more character. It's really fun to walk through. You feel like it's, it's just different, and it really contrasts well against most of our house, which is stark white. Next is the floors. Highly recommend that you don't skimp on the flooring. We went with a white birch, and it just has a very hard feel to it, because every morning you wake up, this is what you stand on first, and it sends a great energy. It's got a 5-inch exposure as well, so it has kind of that old farmy feel to complement our old shaker doors here. And then what the carpenters did mid-process, we used to have these really ugly 2x6s up here that had no real character or charm. And so they took birch plywood and boxed it in to match the floor. It gives it a nice contrast to the white walls and the natural light coming in, but it's also just another fun element and a reminder that you can have fun in this process. I wake up every morning and I look at them and I'm happy with them, and that's what's important. Lastly, this was kind of a funny one, but we had to have an egress. So for those who don't know, every bedroom or living space needs an egress, which is a space for a firefighter to come through. Well, instead of just putting a window here, I thought, why not have a slider? Now, do we have a deck? No. Will we have a deck in the future? Maybe, but I just wanted a huge amount of light without buying a super expensive window. So this slider was able to accomplish just that. So now I can have my Juliet moment. Romeo, oh Romeo. Or oftentimes I just look out there in the morning and try to find deer. So gives it a great option. It's another way to have light, and in the summer we'll be able to open that with a screen door and it'll be just like the outdoors are coming in. So that's a little quick tour of the primary suite here and some of the elements that I would encourage you to think about that maybe you would overlook in the design process. Well, that was fun. Thank you for jumping into my home, hearing a bit about our experience. There is so much more to tell and share, so I invite you to reach out to me. Here's my cell phone number. If you are curious about what contractors to use, what designers to use, or simply how to even think about getting started, I would love to help you. This is such a great town right here in Falmouth, Maine. The location is perfect, and I want to make sure your home is as comfortable as it can be. So thank you so much for watching. I would love to have you subscribe. Chris Davis from Falmouth, Maine. I'll see you next time.